Pro Evolution.
Hey guys, welcome back to another PS2 Memories video. Here we are actually taking a look at Pro Evolution Soccer that was released by Konami for the PlayStation 2 in 2001. It was also the first Pro Evo or PES football game to be released on the console, and it was a direct continuation on from the ISS Pro series that was originally on the PlayStation 1, but it was rebranded under Pro Evolution onto the next generation of consoles. The game was also known as World Soccer Winning 11-5 in Japan, and the game was actually released to critical acclaim because, as the Pro Evolution games before it, or the ISS Pro games as they were commonly known on older consoles, always got rave reviews and competed heavily with the likes of the FIFA soccer series and were among some of the best football games ever created. So to actually have these type of football games to be released on the next generation of consoles at the time in the early 2000s was definitely a step in the right direction, and this game really shone to the best of its ability. I remember myself when I actually first got this game, because again I was a big ISS Pro fan. One of my favourites, if not my most favourite football game ever, was ISS Pro 98 on the PlayStation 1, and I just absolutely loved that game. So to get the chance to actually play this here when I actually got my PlayStation 2 was quite incredible, because at the time when I actually got this, the only other game I actually had on the PlayStation 2 at that time was actually Grand Theft Auto 3. I actually have done a previous video on Grand Theft Auto, even though it's a totally different game, but you can check it out in the description if you want to have a look at it. Because at the time I was only really playing GTA 3 and I wasn't really too interested in getting any other games. But then when I realised that Pro Evolution was coming out, and because I was such a big fan of the series, I knew I actually had to get it. So it was the only game that really kind of took me away from Grand Theft Auto for quite a while. But not only that, because going back to playing the ISS Pro games on the PlayStation 1, I used to play it with a lot of my friends and say my brothers, and we used to play tournaments and we used to spend hours playing the game and used to have so much fun with it. So to actually get to play it this time round on the newest console at the time was definitely something that, in my opinion, had to be done, because once you're a fan you'll always want to try out the newest type of games. Plus as well, for me personally, you just wanted to see what it looked like and what it played like on the new console compared to its original counterparts on the likes of the PS1. So it definitely was a pretty cool opportunity to do so, and I have to say the game actually didn't disappoint. Compared though to the likes of, again, like some of the ISS Pro games, especially ISS Pro 98, that there was definitely the most fluent of probably any football game I've ever played. It's so easy to control. Again, it does present a challenge. It is a difficult game to play in its own right, but how you control the players on the pitch is very, very easy. This game now did take a bit of getting used to. The controls, even though they were excellent, still required a bit more finesse to be able to get familiar. But then it was coming at a time when control systems were starting to change on consoles, so you had to be a bit more direct with exactly what you were doing. No longer could you really kind of take one player and literally run the length of the pitch and just dribble the ball around a handful of players in one go. This game, you could do it if you were skillful enough, but you wouldn't have been able to do it as easily as the older games on older consoles like I mentioned. So you definitely had to kind of like change your game up in order to really kind of get anything out of it. And I found that even with myself, like even going back to playing previous games in the series, I used to always, amongst all of my mates and stuff like that, and even my brothers, I used to always would win a lot of the games. I'll be honest, I was actually very lucky, because I used to always get so lucky to a point that I would always nearly score in injury time, especially when I was playing against some of my mates. And one in particular, my mate Mark, he ended up couldn't beat me in ISS Pro 98. He still actually hasn't beat me to this day, so he hasn't. And I remember actually the first time I actually played this against him, I actually had it and I brought it down to his house, and we played it, and I do remember actually beating him in that as well, and it took him a while. Actually, in this CEO game as well, I don't think he ever really beat me actually in this CEO. The first time he actually did beat me wasn't until ISS Pro, or Pro Evolution 2, so he did, and he did actually hammer me in that game. I think he beat me like 5-2 or 6-2 or something like that, but it took years for him to even get that. But I'm sure if he's watching this, he's going to offer me a challenge, and I know myself, I'll be probably eating those words before long, so I probably shouldn't have said anything, but sure, you never know. I suppose all good results and all streaks have to come to an end at some point. So it's all part of the fun at the end of the day, and that's what was really cool about these games. Again, they were fun, but they were also competitive, because we'd always play this, like we'd always get a group of mates together, and like compared to other people that play these games, like myself, like I wouldn't consider myself as great. I was okay at the game, especially against my own crowd, because we were all about roughly around the same. We weren't really any better than the next person. Just some of us got more luckier than others, especially myself, because I was always a villain for scoring in injury time. I'd always get a cheeky goal or something like that, either draw the game to take it into penalties, or I'd just score a winner in extra time, and the boys used to just crack up with me and just used to go absolutely bananas. I'd be just laughing my head off. So it was so much fun. There's so many good memories with this game. As with the ISS Pro games before on the PlayStation 1, this here game was actually no different. And even with other games, ISS Pro 2 or Pro Evolution 2, Pro Evolution 3 and 4, even 5 and 6, pretty much all of them on the PlayStation 2. I played them all pretty much for the most part, especially up until 6. And they were all really, really good. The funny thing is with the Pro Evolution games, which was kind of a weird thing with the PlayStation 2, the first game was excellent, but Pro Evolution 2, in my opinion, was probably my favourite one. It actually was played even better. It played very, very like ISS Pro 98 on the PlayStation 1. Then you got Pro Evo 3, which was excellent, but it wasn't as good as 2. It didn't play as fluently as 2. Then you got 4, which actually played just as good as 3 and nearly as good as 2. Then you had 5, and 5 was kind of not as good in my opinion as 4. And then you had 6, which was one of the best ones. So it's like every second game, it's like there was kind of like some weakness, and then the second game would get better. Which it was weird how that actually happened, but then it was probably just down to me actually playing it. But I do remember comparing this one to the second game, and I just found the second game a lot easier to play. It was just a lot more fluent, and I found you could dribble the ball so much easier, and you could actually take the ball individually around people way more and more simpler than you actually could in this game here. This game was actually a lot tougher to do that. You really had to utilise and be more accurate with the controls to really kind of get anything. Plus I found the movement a little bit slower as well, so it definitely took a while to get familiar with it, but still it's an incredible title. I will actually do comparisons of all the other Pro Evolution games on the PlayStation 2, and I will compare them with this game at some point, so make sure to keep an eye out for that, because they are all excellent titles, and if you're a fan of the series, you'll know what I'm talking about, because they are a fantastic series of games that are definitely worth playing, especially if you're a fan of soccer. And I'd love to know your thoughts on Pro Evolution for the PlayStation 1, and if you've played it, and are you a fan of the series, and what stories do you have to share with playing these games. Make sure to share it down in the comments below. So if you have enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more videos like this, sharing memories and reviews on games that were released on the PlayStation 2, so make sure to leave a like on the video, and make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon to be updated of future videos. And if you want to see more reviews and gameplay of other awesome games that were released on the PlayStation 2 console, make sure to check some of the videos out here on the screen, and I will see you over in the next one.
Allora Sandro, come ti è sembrata la partita?
Mi è sembrato un incontro avvincente.